Hello, I'm Nicolas Chatel, the candidate of Quebec Solidaire in Jacques Cartier, so the West Island of Montreal. And when it comes to English policy and English-French interactions, first off, at Quebec Solidaire, we will not reduce in any way short-term the rights of English-speaking people in Quebec to access services. That is not in our plan anytime soon. Now, when it comes to the long-term relationship, language is an inherently emotional issue. It is difficult to talk about in Quebec. It's difficult amongst francophones, amongst anglophones. Of course, it is amongst allophones as well, and amongst the First Nations and Inuit that inhabit this territory as well. I do not think it's an issue that should be discussed during elections when people pit one another against each other. It is not appropriate, and that is not how we will get the best policy that ensures the maintaining of diversity at the scale of the continent. And having a French stronghold like Quebec does increase the diversity of languages across the Americas, but also that maintains the diversity within Quebec, including languages that are more threatened than French, the first languages of our territory. At Quebec Solidaire, we will have a constitutional assembly that will be elected after we form government. We deal with the province. That is more than enough for 4 years, trust me. That constitutional assembly will represent all the groups in Quebec society, including the Anglophone, including the First Nations, including people coming from recent immigration, at the proportion they represent in society. And that group, which will be apolitical, will have as a mandate to write up a constitution for Quebec that outlines what the relationships of power should be, what the relationships of people should be, and what the status of languages should be. I think that a nonpartisan body that truly represents all the diversity of Quebec society is the right place to discuss what the relationship between languages should be, and I do not think it should be done during elections. It is too emotional and too easy to point a finger at people. There are insecurities in Quebec society on all sides, and elections are not the right place to do that. Some say this election is the first one in a long time in Quebec not to be about sovereignty. And up to a point, that is welcome news, because we can talk about the issue that is the most important one facing our generation and future generations, the environment. I urge you to look at Quebec Solidaire, at my candidacy in Jacques Cartier, at a party that has a real plan that goes over our health system, our food system, our economy, in order to face the main challenge of our generation, the environmental crisis that is slowly starting to befall us.